Crumble Cookies, obviously F tier. They're not even good cookies, in my opinion. They're a little bit too much. So definitely not high protein, definitely not low calorie. And there are better dessert options out there. So get your Crumble Cookies out of here. I asked my followers what their best high protein, low calorie foods were, and they did not disappoint. Today, we're going to be ranking your submissions in a tier list. So let's get to it. All right, starting off strong with our most popular submission was for canned tuna and tuna in general. Just got the canned variety in here. Now, for 230 calories, you're getting 50 grams of protein. So in my book, that's S tier. Now, here's the thing about canned tuna. There's a lot of sodium, some preservatives in there. It's not going to be your highest quality tuna. It might be farmed. I would prefer to go with like a fresh caught option if you're going to do a tuna. Fish can have a lot of mercury in it, so I would look at maybe limiting your amount of intake of tuna, but just from a high protein, low calorie option, this is S tier for sure. I don't prefer to eat it just because it kind of tastes like cat food to me. Kind of grosses me out a little bit. But if it's your thing, go ahead, rock it. Another popular submission we had was for Greek yogurt. Now, Greek yogurt is pretty good. We're going to have to put Greek yogurt in A tier. We're looking at for around 280 calories. You're going to get 50 grams of protein. Greek yogurt is a probiotic. It's extremely versatile. You can make a lot of different meals with it. You can make some desserts with it. I like to do like protein powder, frozen berries, some sugar-free syrup in there. It tastes really good. But you can also throw it in smoothies. You can use it as a base for yogurt chicken. It's just extremely versatile. And for the calorie to protein ratio you're getting here, it's not going to be a lot of beat that. So Greek yogurt going in A tier. Another popular submission we had was for these Core Power protein shakes. Now, looking at the macros here, for around 270 calories, you're going to get 50 grams of protein. So that's going A tier in my opinion. They're also delicious. I have no idea how Fairlife does it, but these are by far the tastiest protein shake I've ever tried. It literally just tastes like chocolate milk. They're also extremely easy to get. You can get them in any gas station, the airport, whatever. So if you're on the go and you're looking for a way to get, another 40 grams of protein in for pretty low calories, these Core Power are a really good option. So for that reason, they're going in A tier. Another popular submission we had was for eggs. Now, this is a common misconception. Eggs, well, they do seem like a high protein, low calorie source. They're actually pretty fatty, and for that reason, we're gonna have to put them in C tier because a whole egg for around 600 calories, you're gonna get 50 grams of protein. So, well, I do like eggs. It's just not the best bang for your buck when it comes to a high protein, low calorie option. In the same option as eggs, we have egg whites. Now I've got egg beaters here pulled up because egg beaters are the same macros as egg whites, but they taste better. They've added in vitamins and flavoring. And I'm gonna have to put these into A tier. For 250 calories, you're looking around 50 grams of protein. It's pretty freaking solid, man. What I like to do is I like to mix some whole eggs into the egg beaters so you can have a nice like scrambled egg meal. It still has the same texture and taste as regular eggs, but with like a fraction of the calories and way more protein. So egg beaters going in the A tier. Another popular submission we had was for canned chicken breast. Now, again, just purely evaluating this on a protein to calorie ratio, they're going to have to go into S tier because you're looking at 230 calories for 50 grams of protein. The thing is again, this has a lot of sodium, a lot of preservatives in it, so I would not make it a staple of your diet. But if you're looking for a cheap, easy way to get more protein into your diet, canned chicken is a pretty good option. In that same right, chicken breast, the same macros, also really good. I prefer this over the canned chicken because, it's cooked. It tastes better, has better texture. It's probably better for you just because of the less sodium and preservatives. I've been doing a lot of air fried chicken recently, so there's no oil or anything. Absolutely fantastic. If you have an air fryer, please try cooking your chicken in the air fryer. But chicken breast goes in S tier. Of course, nobody's surprised by that. We had a submission for 91% beef. Now, it may surprise you, but 91% beef, I'm gonna have to move this down to the B tier. There's just a lot of fat in it. For around 450 calories, you're getting 50 grams of protein. If this is like a staple of your diet, you're gonna be getting a lot of saturated fat. I prefer to get my protein sources 98, 99% lean, so that's something like chicken or white fish. So B tier for the 91% ground beef. Next up, we have these Built Puff Bars. Now, I've actually tried these. I was at Costco a few months back and I picked them up. These are pretty solid. I'm gonna have to throw the Built Puff Bars in B. They're kind of like a chocolate covered nougat protein situation, but for 400 calories, you're looking at 50 grams of protein. I think they're divvied out. There's about like 17 grams of protein per little candy bar. Their texture is kind of weird. It's definitely not a traditional protein bar by any means, but I threw them in the freezer and they were pretty solid. They're also really small and easy to get down. So if you're someone who struggles with getting protein in your diet, this is a sweet treat that has a lot of protein in it and not a ton of calories. So these Built Puff Bars, I'm gonna put them in B tier. Another submission I hadn't heard of these Sola protein bagels. They're gonna have to go into C tier just for me because for 630 calories, you're getting 50 grams of protein. So it's really not that great in terms of protein to calorie ratio. However, if you're someone who struggles to get protein into your diet, this can be a really easy way to replace something like a regular bagel that has no protein into it with something with a little extra protein. And this goes for all different sorts of protein breads, Dave's Wicked Bread, that sort of thing. It's a good way to add a little extra protein into your diet and replace bread that might not have protein in it. So this was one I had not heard of. It's called Tempeh. It's fermented soybeans kind of packed down into a bread. Um, I looked at the macros for around 500 calories. You can get 50 grams of protein. So that's going to be C tier for me. However, it is a vegan option. It is a complete protein. So if you're someone who's vegan, this could be a good option for you. I personally don't know much about it. This next option was kind of gross, raw lamb liver. Now, it does have a really good protein to calorie ratio, 300 calories for 50 grams of protein. But just basing on the, grossness factor, I'm going to have to put these in B tier. Not my thing. If you like raw organs in your diet, that's fine. Some people will be like, well, you have to for the vitamins and minerals. You can take a multivitamin. You don't need to eating raw liver in order to hit those goals. Okay, Liver King, you calm down there. Another popular submission was for shrimp. Shrimp is an S tier. 250 calories, going to give you 50 grams of protein. Extremely solid, very versatile. You can cook it up a ton of different ways. Super easy to cook. Shrimp is going in S tier. Now, we had a joker here, Crumble Cookies, obviously F tier. They're not even good cookies. In my opinion, they're a little bit too much. So, definitely not high protein, definitely not low calorie, and there are better dessert options out there. So, get your Crumble Cookies out of here. I don't want that. Another great option we had here was the Siggies. Now, Siggies actually has better calorie ratio than Greek yogurt. So for 50 grams of protein, you're looking at 250 calories. Same as shrimp. That's going in A tier. Again, it's super versatile, just like the Greek yogurt. You can use it as a base in desserts or other meals. It is a little bit better in terms of macros, Greek yogurt, but the flavor just isn't quite there for me. So I prefer Greek yogurt, but it is extremely high protein, low calorie, so it's going in S tier. This is less of a food and more of an appliance, but the Ninja Creamy, I'm gonna have to put in S tier. Now, I do not recommend eating a Ninja Creamy. I think that there's probably a lot of dangerous things in there that would kill you if you tried to eat it. However, you can make some delicious protein ice cream with the Ninja Creamy, especially if you're someone who has a sweet tooth who still wants to hit their protein goals. This is a great way to do it. You can pick one of these up from Target for like 200 bucks and they definitely pay off. Another popular submission we had was for salmon. Now, this might surprise a lot of you, but salmon, it's going in the C tier. So for 460 calories, you're getting 50 grams of protein. In terms comparing it to our other lean protein sources like chicken breast or whitefish, it's just not there. Now, I love salmon, but it's just got a lot of fat in it. So if you're looking for something high protein, low calorie, salmon might not be your best choice. We also had a very popular submission for cum. Uh, you know, if that's your thing, that's your thing. For me personally, I'm going to have to put that in F tier just because of the amount you'd have to consume in order to hit your protein goals. It's just unrealistic. Like, you know, I got places to be, I got things to do. I can't sit around all day, like, you know, you know, resourcing jism. It's just not feasible. So F tier with Crumble Cookies. Get out of here. Um, Now this one takes the cake. Ground turkey going in S tier. The 99% lean option. You're looking at, for 214 calories, you're gonna get 50 grams of protein, which means only 14 calories are coming from a source that is not protein. This is pure protein, guys. Pure protein, super high protein, super low calories. If you're someone who likes ground beef, but you can only get 93%, this is a cheaper option. You can season it up just like ground beef, has a ton of protein in it, super low calories. This is a staple of my diet in the off season when I need to get a lot of stuff down. 99% ground turkey, that's an S tier option. Cottage cheese was up next. Now, cottage cheese, we're gonna have to throw into A tier for around 340 calories. You're getting 50 grams of protein. I'm not a huge fan of cottage cheese, but you can mix it in with a lot of stuff, and that goes in with our next one here, which was this tuna cottage cheese salad. Sounds kind of gross, but I thought about it. I do like chicken salad, I do like tuna salad. So that's a very high protein, low calorie option that might be really delicious. So that's going in A tier as well. Now we had a submission for chorizo, which is ground pork basically. I'm sorry guys, chorizo is F tier. For 50 grams of protein, you're looking at 1,200 calories. That's just ridiculous. If this is a staple of your diet and you're trying to lose weight, you are just screwing yourself over. There's no way you're hitting your goals in terms of saturated fat intake if you're eating chorizo multiple times a day. You're just going to be off the charts. There's really not that much protein in it. I would not recommend it. This next option here was sardines. Now, I do not like sardines. Again, whole little fish heads and the fishy flavor. I feel like I'm eating some weird cat food. But, you know, the macros are okay. We're looking at around, for 400 calories, you're going to get 50 grams of protein. So we'll throw that in B tier. Again, with the grossness factor, it's just not my thing. Now, if you like sardines, go nuts. But for me, it's just not happening. And lastly, we have whitefish. Whitefish is going in S tier. You know, for 225 calories, you're getting 50 grams of protein. It's just a little bit worse than ground turkey. But overall, whitefish is pretty good. So let's do a little inventory take here. In the S tier, we have our lean protein sources. We have one appliance in our S tier, but it's really about the foods you can make with that appliance. In the A tier, we have things like Greek yogurt, protein powder, egg beaters, cottage cheese, very solid. In our B tier, we have more fatty meats. We have some organ meats, sardines, and some protein bars. C tier, whole eggs, unfortunately, as well as salmon and some like bread protein sources. Nothing in the D tier here. Nothing in the D tier. Maybe I messed up on that, but no D tier. And then F tier, crumble cookies, jism, and chorizo. Just not what you want for a high protein, low calorie source. If you have any ideas yourself for some high protein foods that were not in this tier list, drop them in the comments below. If you liked the video, comment, subscribe, come back for more.